Welcome to Hey Las Vegas. I'm your host, Bror Fredrik, the voice of Las Vegas, bringing you all the latest Las Vegas news, updates, information, rumors, and the occasional what the actual F. And that'll take place at the end of the episode, so stick around. So if you love Vegas the way I love Vegas, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and especially hit that bell button to get notified so you never miss an episode. We've got a lot to get into, and we're going to get into it right after this. Welcome back. I'm here at Treasure Island for no other reason than there's free parking. Would anyone actually miss Treasure Island if they knock this place down? And I'm gonna prognosticate right now that once the Hard Rock goes in next door, this might be the second place to go because their property value is gonna go up. And trust me, nobody's gonna miss, well, maybe a few people, few of you out there might miss the TI. I won't miss the TI, and a lot of other people won't either. And I'm gonna post some pictures of what's shown in the bathroom right now, and the police type lights in the parking lot. Kind of sketchy, but again, free parking, and here we are at the TI. So, what do I have for you today? I have information. I told you on a previous episode, obviously we all know that Hard Rock International bought Mirage. And they also sent a letter out to all the employees saying that we welcome you to the Hard Rock family. So they made it known that if they want to stay with the Hard Rock, that's the MGM employees, they indeed can. But here's what's actually taken place behind the scenes. MGM has given their employees the opportunity to move to other MGM properties. They have to fill out the forms and all this other stuff. And they'll see if the MGM employees, if they want to move to other properties instead of staying at the Hard Rock, they have the opportunity to start doing that now. How are they gonna operate? How many people are gonna bail? How many people are gonna stick around through the whole thing? How many employees? And trust me, the Mirage employees, a lot of them have been there since the beginning, since 1989. A lot of them have been there for years. A lot of them have been there for decades. So they might not want to take a chance with Hard Rock. So that means they'll be leaving at their earliest possible convenience. So we're going to see what that means to the Mirage, whether they're going to have staff shortages, and I'm curious to see how many people are indeed willing to stick around to be employees of the Hard Rock and what repercussions that might have to the property right now. Only time will tell. In other big casino news, we have the opening of the Palms coming up. The date is not exactly set, but it is going to be spring of 2022. So you're talking 3 to 4 months, possibly 5, and we will see the Palms reopen. And I'm excited to see the Palms reopen. That does a lot for the area. Yes, it's off strip, but not that far off the strip. And they got a great deal on that property because they had a massive renovation right before it was sold to them. So they basically paid for that place for the cost of the previous renovation. So they got a fantastic deal, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with that property, and I bet you are too. And for you Wayne Newton fans, Wayne Newton, he postponed his residency at Caesars, but it's back on. January 24th, Wayne Newton will be at Caesars, and tickets start at only $79. So if you've never had the opportunity to see Wayne Newton, or you're just a big Wayne Newton fan, now's your chance. $79, tickets are on sale now, and that'll take place over at Caesars Palace. I know it's a little early to start talking about New Year's Eve. We're going to talk about New Year's Eve in the next episode. There's a lot of things to cover, and definitely hit that bell button so you don't miss it. But for right now, what I am going to tell you is that the monorail is going to run for $1 from New Year's Eve forward for 44 hours. So you can get around, no excuse to be driving, and that's an absolutely amazing deal. For $1, you can get any way you want to go around New Year's Eve and into New Year's Day. $1 per ride for 44 hours. So shout out monorail. And for those of you who are wondering where the fireworks are going to be, I have a list right here. It's going to be the first time fireworks. Obviously, it wasn't last year. First time back since 2020. So the fireworks are indeed going to happen this year. It's going to be an 8-minute show at 8 different properties. And here's the list. It is going to take place at MGM Grand, the Aria, Planet Hollywood, TI, right where we are right now, Caesars, the Venetian, the Strat, and added to the list for this year for the first time ever, obviously it's a new property, is the RW. So there's going to be fireworks up and down the strip. It's going to be a Gucci show, coordinated music, the whole bit, and that is going to take place obviously New Year's Eve. I don't have the time for you, but again, stay tuned for the next episode and I'll give you all that information. And of course, I'm going to attempt to go live on New Year's Eve. It might be a little crazy, but either way, I'll bring you a video, and either way, I'll definitely be somewhere to show you the fireworks. And what you've all been waiting for, Las Vegas, what the actual F. Today I have 2 things to cover in what the actual F. And one of them is a recently announced data breach at Dottie's. Now Dottie's is a local casino here, pretty popular local casino bar, Dottie's. Okay, a lot of you know it, a lot of you don't. But they had a data breach pretty recently, which meant that all their customer information got released out into the wild. And they didn't really talk about it all that much, but I'm telling you that if you're a Dottie's customer, you might want to start checking your credit report and see what's going on with that. And that's another reason why I've made videos about it. I'm not a huge fan of players cards. I'm not a huge fan. Let me adjust this thing. And yes, I do have to wear it because I'm inside a property, so don't go like buck wild in the comments. Got to respect the properties. They allow me to do these things. That's another reason why I am not a huge fan of players cards, and I'm not a huge fan of having my ID scan coming in and out of a property like Circa, let's say. In order to enjoy Circa and what they have to offer, type machines, you have to hand over your driver's license and allow them to scan it into their system. Not a big fan. I don't know where my data is going. I don't know how it's being used. I don't know who has access to it, and I don't know who's securing it. So if they have a data breach, it's even worse because your driver's license contains everything, including probably what you had for breakfast. And if that information gets out in the wild, you're basically screwed. So not a big fan of the whole scanning the driver's license thing. So data breaches happen. I'm not saying they don't, but it just recently happened to Dottie's, and it could happen to anyone. So the choice is yours, how much information you want to give the properties or people in general. But just remember that it's not 100% guaranteed that your information will not be somewhere on the World Wide Web. And finally, on what the actual F, we're going to discuss mandates. Now, why did mandates make what the actual F this week? It's because Clark County has once again moved the goalpost in terms of when we no longer have to wear these things, as I am right now. Now, interestingly enough, 2 CEOs from major airlines have come out and said that they believe that passengers should no longer have to wear this on their flights. So, interesting, but back to the story. How it made what the actual F, the mask mandates, the goalpost moving. How did the goalpost move? Now, It's been determined Clark County kind of follows in lockstep with what's going on with the CDC. And the CDC says your percentages, they recommend the percentages of positive tests be 7% or under in order to release this. Now, Clark County has met that on several occasions. So that metric, as they call it, has been met. Now, they go ahead and they say, oh, it's a 9-day average, oh, it's a 3-day average in order to keep above. But long term, we've been under 7%. And the town is very safe, and for all intents and purposes, the town is very healthy. You don't see much contact tracing coming back to Las Vegas. Now, what they decided to do was change another metric. That way they can keep this in place. The metric used to be that 150 cases per 100,000 residents. Now, that is not a lot. That's a very, very small percentage. As long as we were supposed to be under 150 per 100,000 residents, this was no longer required. So the moving of the goalpost has been, now it's 50. We have to be under 50 positives for every 100,000 residents here in Clark County. Now that is such a minuscule, I would say almost unattainable number. That's as if saying that it basically has to be eliminated here in order for these to go away. So they move the goalpost to such a degree that this is going to stay in place a long time. It might stay in place throughout 2022. Now, Clark County officials have already come out and said, yes, expect it well into 2022, but it is not going away anytime soon, because now we have to meet this next metric of being under 50 reported cases per 100,000, and we have over 2 million people here. So that's almost non-existent, and that's also on a rolling average. So they moved the goalpost to something nearly unattainable. Now, that might change as our rate continues to drop, which it has been, but we all know that there's this new variant out there, and one person got diagnosed with it about a week ago or so. So, you know, we will see what happens, but it's my responsibility to bring you the latest updates in the mandates. That way you feel comfortable coming here and you have the information. You can comment how you feel, you know, that's up to you. Just keep it civil. Some people love them, some people hate them. I'm wearing mine now because I've been asked to wear it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll do what the properties are requiring at this time. And if anything changes, I'll let you know. So I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Hey Las Vegas. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you get notified so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that with Patreon, get a channel membership, or click on any of the links in the description below. And on that note, Bror Fredrik out.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.